Welcome back to the Xultimate Firehose. I'm Jim, and I have spent the last several days reading every single thing this man posted so that you don't have to. May 24th through May 31st. 2026, 7 days, 151 posts, 9 threads, and exactly 0 hours of sleep, apparently, because the man does not stop. Here's the thing you have to understand about this week. It was not one story. It was about 9 stories, all happening at the same time. All on the same timeline, stacked on top of each other like a car crash in slow motion that you cannot look away from. We've got a rocket that blew up. We've got a Robotaxi that drove itself out of a factory. We've got an entire artificial intelligence company launching a coding tool roughly every 11 minutes. We've got the moon. We've got Paris on fire. And we've got a culture war firestorm out of the United Kingdom that produced the single most liked post of the entire week by a wide margin. So strap in. This is a big one. And real quick, because this is the only thing that actually keeps the lights on around here, if you want more of this, the move is simple. Subscribe so the next one finds you. Hit like, drop a comment telling me which of these 9 dumpster fires you want me to go deeper on next, because genuinely the algorithm only cares about 2 things, likes and comments. And that's how it learns to put more of this in your feed. Follow DGTL Dreamscapes over on X Bike. And if one friend in your life also cannot stop doom scrolling this account, send it their way. Okay, let's go. We have to start here because this is where the week's gravity was, and I want to be careful and clear because this is heavy stuff. The single biggest post of the entire 7 days by likes was this one. The text reads, "Both men said, I can't breathe, but only one man's death was covered relentlessly by the media." He's drawing a line between George Floyd and a teenager in the United Kingdom named Henry Nowak. The numbers on this are staggering. 348,959 likes, 70,000 reposts, 14 million views. That is the high watermark of the week, and it set the tone for everything that followed. Because this wasn't a one-off. It was a campaign. Days earlier, he dropped a single red 100 emoji. That's it, just the emoji. Underneath a post claiming Henry Nowak was stabbed in the back of the legs while trying to escape. One emoji, 170,000 likes, 47 million views. Let that sink in. 47 million people saw an emoji. The story he kept amplifying, post after post, was about the trial. Details leaking that the accused, a man named Vikram Digwa, allegedly called the police instead of an ambulance and claimed he'd been the victim of racist remarks when officers arrived. He boosted a post calling it, and I'm quoting the post here, not editorializing, "DEI has again proved lethal." This is the framing he ran with over and over to an audience of tens of millions. And the recurring jab, the thing he hammered all week, was at the UK Prime Minister. One post he amplified pointed out that Keir Starmer had made 0 public statements about Henry Nowak, and at least 7 about George Floyd. 46,000 likes on that one. And then the demand, over and over. Release the body camera videos, release the footage. By the morning of May 31st, he was posting, and I quote, "Release the footage, you evil bastards." That's the prime minister of a sitting government being addressed as you evil bastards on a platform he owns. Sir, this is a social media app, but also that's exactly why people watch. The whole arc got tied together by the end of the week into a side-by-side. A young woman named Irina, a teenager named Henry. 2 cases, 2 countries, 1 narrative about who gets the headlines and who doesn't. Whatever you think of the framing, and people have very strong opinions about the framing, the engagement was simply enormous. This was the story of his week, which flows directly into the political project he was selling all week. The phrase he kept repeating, in his own words, "Only restore Britain can save Britain." 156,000 likes, 38 million views. For those who don't follow British politics, congratulations, you've been living correctly. Restore Britain is a political movement associated with a member of parliament named Rupert Lowe. And Elon Musk spent this week functioning as essentially its largest unpaid social media account. He posted videos of Lowe directly to his timeline. No comment, no caption, just here is this man talking, good morning. 33 million views on a video of a British MP saying good morning. There are sitting world leaders who would commit minor crimes for that kind of reach. He amplified the movement's accounts going after political rivals. One post claiming an opponent had admitted on national television to trying to put Rupert Lowe in prison over political differences. 19,000 likes. There were calls to action, inviting people to a parliamentary debate in Westminster Hall at 4:30 in the afternoon on a Monday. I want you to really appreciate this. The richest man on earth, owner of the platform, telling tens of millions of people the room number and the time for a committee meeting. That's a new one. And he kept it personal and breezy, just 2 words. Frank is right, boosting a supporter named Frank. 78,000 likes for agreeing with a guy named Frank. We should all aspire to have a friend who validates us to a stadium of 33 million people. Okay, tonal shift. Let's talk about the thing that if you squint was actually the biggest deal of the week in the long run, the artificial intelligence stuff. Because while one half of his timeline was a culture war, the other half was a product launch with the intensity of a man who has had 11 energy drinks. It started with this. Grok Foundation model V9 Minim, 1.5 trillion parameters, has finished training. Evals look good. Then the kicker, 2 to 3 weeks to public release, 70,000 likes. He's casually announcing a frontier AI model the way you or I would announce we finally did the laundry. Then came the actual launch. Grok Build, their coding tool, went into open beta, and the official XAI announcement post pulled in 72 million views. 72 million for a command line developer tool, the thing normal humans use to organize files. They put the model on the API at $1 per million tokens in, 2 per million out, which in AI pricing terms is aggressively, suspiciously cheap. The kind of cheap that makes competitors nervously check their own pricing pages. And then the testimonials started rolling in, and Elon boosted every single one. Developers saying it's, quote, right there with Claude. High praise, and also I noticed the bar is right there with the other one, which is a very honest thing to accidentally admit in your own marketing. One guy built an entire dinosaur encyclopedia website, every image, every video clip, generated by the thing itself from a single prompt. So the future is here, and we're using it to build dinosaur websites. Honestly, no notes. That's beautiful. That's what the technology is for. But my favorite AI moment of the entire week, and this is Elon at his most self-aware, was a quote tweet with no words at all, just a video. The caption on the original post read, "Me using Claude Opus 4.8 to rename a file." It's a joke about using the most powerful artificial intelligence on Earth for the most trivial possible task. He posted it with 0 commentary. 280,000 likes, 39 million views. The man understands the bit. I have to give it to him. Now let's go to space, where the week had a genuine plot twist. The Starship blew up. When confronted with it, his response was a single word: true. 53 million views on the word true. That is the most expensive one-word performance review in human history. And then the spin, which honestly is kind of magnificent. Quote, RUD events are not unusual in the rocket world. RUD, for the uninitiated, stands for Rapid Unscheduled Disassembly. That is the official aerospace term for the rocket exploding. They gave it an acronym. They built a whole vocabulary so that it blew up sounds like a scheduling conflict. Sorry, the rocket couldn't make it. It had a rapid unscheduled disassembly. 168,000 likes for the world's most elegant way to say oops. But the explosion didn't slow the ambition down at all. Midweek, time to build a major base on the moon. Just like that. Casually, 133,000 likes. And this wasn't just vibes. NASA actually launched a website for a $20 billion permanent moon base, with Starship playing a central role. There's a NASA administrator out here posting about the science of survival on the lunar South Pole like it's a Tuesday. Even Jeff Bezos showed up in the replies to call the moon base the stepping stone towards everything that comes next. When the 2 richest men on Earth are politely agreeing about the moon, you know we fully left normal person reality behind. Meanwhile, quietly in the background, while everyone was arguing, SpaceX completed its 50th Starlink launch of the year. 50th. We're not even halfway through 2026. 1,375 satellites deployed this year alone, with another launch scheduled for that same night. And Starlink kept eating the airline industry. Starlink coming to American Airlines, he posted. By the end of the week, the count was 38 airlines and more than 6,300 aircraft. So the next time your in-flight Wi-Fi actually works, congratulations, you're part of the empire. Oh, and almost as a footnote, he mentioned SpaceX is writing an in-house AI training stack in the C programming language that maps to 220,000 high-end chips. He posted that, he said, to recruit people who enjoy, quote, getting incredible performance out of hardware. Most companies post a job listing. This man posts a flex and waits for the nerds to come to him. But the post that broke the views counter for the week wasn't the rocket and wasn't the culture war. It was a car. Cybercab driving itself out of the Giga Texas factory. A short clip of the little gold Robotaxi, no driver, no steering wheel, just rolling itself out of the building like it's late for work. 349,000 likes, 65 million views. The most watched thing of the entire week was a car leaving a garage by itself. And honestly, yeah, I watched it twice. The Tesla self-driving content this week reached a place I did not expect. There is apparently a setting called Mad Max mode. A fan posted, "You haven't experienced real self-driving until you've tried Tesla self-driving 14.3.3 in Mad Max mode. I have so many questions. Chief among them, who at the company looked at autonomous driving software and said, you know what this needs? A setting named after the post-apocalyptic road rage movie. Meanwhile, the rollout went international. Tesla's FSD got approved in Estonia this week. Estonia! The Robotaxi is conquering the Baltics, one country at a time. And tying his whole philosophy together in 3 words, he posted, product greater than brand, 104,000 likes, which is a very confident thing to say from the account that is itself the single largest brand-building machine on the platform. But sure, product over brand, posted to 41 million people. Got it. Now, in between the explosions and the robotaxis, the man got philosophical. And these posts are honestly where you see what he actually believes the whole thing is for. He wrote at length, which is rare, about securing the long-term future of consciousness, both on Earth and other heavenly bodies. His argument, we can't just focus on Earth because there are, quote, irreducible external, like a massive meteor, and internal, like global nuclear war, cataclysmic risks. 101,000 likes for what is essentially a TED Talk about not putting all of humanity's eggs in one planetary basket. He boosted a post calling conscious matter the flame of life and the rarest object type in the universe. Rarer, it claims, than black holes. Big swing. Beautiful, actually, if you don't think about it too hard at 2 in the morning. And he kept beating the same drum about AI. I don't think most people understand just how quickly machine intelligence is advancing. People really have no idea. Which, given that he spent the rest of the week launching an AI model and writing a custom training stack in C, is not exactly a neutral observer's take. But the man's putting his money where his mouth is. I'll give him that. And my favorite of the bunch, a genuinely thoughtful one, on the physics of truth. Truth is not an easy thing, but you can aspire to the truth. You can try to get as close as possible with minimum error while acknowledging there will be some error. It's a lovely sentiment. It is also, I will gently note, coming from the same timeline that spent the week posting a 100 emoji at unverified crime details. The aspiration is there. The execution is a journey. Running underneath the whole week was a steady drumbeat of Europe is in trouble content. And it peaked, literally with fire. May 31st, a video of burning barricades and chaos in the streets. Captioned simply, problems in Paris. 2 words, 221,000 likes, 22 million views. The genre of ominous 2-word caption over a video of something on fire is, at this point, a core part of the brand. He amplified a post about the French justice minister reportedly saying the country had reached the limit of its capacity and wanting a 3-year moratorium on legal migration. Framed as a turning point. Things are changing. He boosted hard-edged crime reports out of Germany and a much-debated statistic out of Sweden claiming 1% of the population committed 63% of certain violent crimes. I'll just flag, as your host, these are exactly the kinds of statistics that get passed around at light speed and fact-checked at a crawl. The reach is instant. The context, if it ever arrives days later to 1/10 of the audience. But that's the whole machine, isn't it? That's the engine of the entire timeline. A claim moves at the speed of a repost. Everything else moves at the speed of a correction. And you already know which one wins. Let's close out the chaos with the leftovers. The posts that don't fit a theme but absolutely deserve their moment. He quote-tweeted a Babylon Bee satire headline, California passes law making it a crime to report a crime, with the words, pretty much. Co-signing satire is basically true. 268,000 likes, 29 million views. The man treats the Babylon Bee as a primary source, and honestly, in 2026, who's to say he's wrong? He dropped a 1-word, good on a post about a Minnesota fraud case, 15 people charged, $90 million. 286,000 likes for the word good. This man has turned single words into a high-engagement art form. He's the haiku poet of rage. In the wholesome corner, his mother, Mae Musk, posted glamour shots from Courchevel, casually mentioning she changes into the gowns in the back of a van to promote her new book. Iconic. The whole family just posts through it. It's hereditary. He marked the anniversary of Voltaire's death with 2 quotes. I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it, and those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities. Posted without a trace of irony on the platform where this entire week happened. Voltaire is somewhere doing a slow, eternal blink. And there was a tribute from the official White House account, no less, to Harambe the gorilla on the 10th anniversary, 10 years. The White House posting about Harambe. We have officially completed the timeline. There is nowhere left to go. And he capped the whole week on the morning of May 31st by plugging in an audiobook. Try the audiobook of Suicidal Empathy, which had been sitting at #1 in Canada for 2 weeks running. From rocket explosions to moon bases to a culture war to a book recommendation, The Range. You cannot accuse this man of having a narrow week. So that was it. 7 days, 151 posts. A rocket disassembled itself, a robotaxi drove itself out of a building, an AI model casually announced itself, a culture war raged itself into the most liked post of the week, and Paris caught fire. All from one account, all from one thumb, apparently operating on no sleep whatsoever. Here's the thing I keep coming back to. The single most liked post of the week was a culture war line about two men who said, "I can't breathe." The single most viewed post was a gold car driving itself out of a garage. And those two things side by side on the same timeline, 24 hours apart, that's the whole man. That's the whole platform. Tragedy and a toy, scrolling past each other, both getting tens of millions of views, and the feed treats them exactly the same. That's what I'm here to untangle every week. And it's genuinely more fun with you in the comments. So if any part of this made you laugh or yell or stare into the middle distance, reconsidering your relationship with the internet, that's the good stuff. Hit subscribe so the next breakdown finds you. Smash that like button and tell me in the comments which of these 9 stories you want me to go all the way down the rabbit hole on next. I read every single one. And that's how the algorithm figures out what to feed you more of. Follow DGTL Dreamscapes over on X for the moments that don't make the episode. And if you've got that one friend who's also hopelessly online, do them a favor and a disservice at the same time and send this their way. I'm Jim. This has been the Xultimate Firehose. Go drink some water. I'll see you next week.